So today we are starting with our 8th and final episode of this series, and we're going to discuss about how to build trust. Now, whenever I think of teamwork and trusting teams, I just think of ants. What a remarkable species, right? They get the job done always through teamwork. They just do not get intimidated by the size of workload. They just trust each other and never leave their fellow mates alone carrying the workload. This level of teamwork is not possible without a deep sense of bond or deep sense of trust. So, what is trust, by the way? Trust is nothing but a firm belief in the reliability, truth, or ability of someone or something. Note the words I have highlighted here. Those are the critical factors of trust, and those are reliability, truth, and ability. Trust is the foundation of all relationships. If trust is not there, people cannot coexist, whether it is at work or home. Why is trust so important then? I mean, what all things trust can influence? If it is so important, then it must be influencing so many things, right? You're thinking absolutely right. Trust directly or indirectly influences so many things, like engagement, loyalty. It can reduce stress. Just by knowing and trusting someone to have your back relieves you of so much of stress. It influences attrition. It boosts innovation by just providing a safety net of failure. It can also give you the much needed competitive advantage. Finally, just read what Gallup found out through their research. By the way, we already knew this thing, but agencies like Gallup proves it with data and facts, since otherwise, sorry to say, a lot of stubborn men at the top just do not get it. So they found out even when there were periodic mistakes in decision making or communications, in high trust organizations, employees will still give their leaders the benefit of the doubt. I mean, that's the true power of trust. And the biggest irony is only a handful of organizations spends money, time and effort behind building trust. They say all the right things, right? They print great posters which has the word trust in it. Majority of the company use the word trust in their value statements, but in the true sense, they do not do the right things, which will generate trust among people. Only remarkable leaders and organizations truly focus on trust building. And trust me, that trust is a big issue these days. One of the very recent study revealed that employees do not trust their managers. I mean, generally, according to a Harvard Business Review survey as well, 58% people said that they trust strangers than their managers. Most managers, if you ask them, they will say or see themselves as very fair, transparent, and effective, but their employees seems to disagree with them. There was also a survey conducted by Ultimate Software and the Center of Generational Kinetics, and it revealed a stunning 80% of the employees said they could do their job without their managers, right? And that's staggering. Also, if you look at Gallup's 2015 State of American Manager Study Report, it revealed that managers account for at least 70% of the variance in employee engagement, and that is across all business units. And that all the disengaged employees cost up to $500 billion annually in productivity losses. I just hope you trust me now, looking at all the statistics, that trust is actually a very big problem for organizations these days. Now, we have spent some good amount of time talking about trust issues. Let us now discuss about what can we do to build trust, because that's what the video primarily would be focusing on. For you guys to understand this very easily, I would like to split this up into two separate discussions. How can you build trust if you are a leader or a CEO or a business owner? And the second part is, how can you build trust among your employees if you are a manager? You can be a frontline manager, you can be a first level, second level, or a senior manager, but how can you build trust if you are in a managerial position? And how can you build trust among your employees? Now, the reason I wanted to take on these two roles separately is because trust building approaches would be very different for them. All right, so let us first talk about the leader. Now, studies show that the same leader in the same organization is viewed differently by different teams. Now, this is where perception comes in. A leader will not be able to meet every employee in the company, right? It's not practically feasible, especially when the organization gets bigger. So people who will interact with the leader directly might have a different experience and perception than the others who does not meet the leader frequently. Even within the same group who interacts with the leader, perception can vary. There can also be socio-cultural or geographical issues which might feed into this perception. Employees' experience with frontline managers is a key determinator. Now, this is so true, right? If you have a great manager, if you like him, then you might be tempted to think that your whole organization and leaders are also good. And similarly, if you have a bad manager, you might get tempted to think negative about your organization and all the leaders, and you might consider leaving the job. Frontline managers' experience with their bosses, with their leaders, is also a very key determinator. If a manager is treated poorly and he feels not trusted by his or her leaders, then naturally that will have a domino effect on his employees. So it needs to be noted that leaders of large organization has minimal direct impact on the employees. The key word here to note is direct impact. They will of course have indirect impact on employees. So if leaders wish to build trusting teams, then they need to build trust by building loyal and the right network of executives and managers. It is only through them and their next lines that a leader can indirectly impact the last employee of the organization. A leader's success depends on their reputation extending beyond their closest confidants. Now, this is to be understood properly. Even if a leader builds a close-knitted group of loyal and engaged managers and executives, but unless those managers does the same with their teams, things will not work. Trust will not flow. So a leader must insist time and again to the team, must talk to the team time and again to build trust with people the same way he is doing with them. Now let us talk about managers. Now before I start, I want you all to remember the trust definition once again. A firm belief in the reliability, truth and ability of someone or something. Keep those three words in mind: reliability, truth and ability. As I go through the list now, and try to map these words with what I'm going to discuss in this slide. The first thing for managers to note is to make a connection. Do not try to be like them, but try to like them. Now, what does this mean? What do I mean by do not try to be like them, but try to like them? The answer is a bit about generational differences. Now, the way the current generation talks, thinks, reacts are different from previous generation, right? Safe enough to assume that most managers are of previous generation. Yeah, there can be some exceptions, but by and large, most of the managers would be of previous generation. So just like the challenges of parents, managers faces this challenge too of making a connection. So many managers think that just by talking like them or acting like them or dressing like them, they will be able to successfully make a connection with the new workforce. By the way, a lot of parents also try this. They try to be friends too early with their kids and compromise the respect factor. You do not have to be like them. All right. You just be yourself. They will understand and respect generational differences provided you remove negative thoughts about them. Remove those stereotypical thoughts from your mind, like the current workforce, which is generally the millennials and centennials. They are much impatient, they are myopic, they are not loyal, they might be at times less gritty, they are entitled, they are lazy, all these negative thoughts. Instead, start thinking what this generation has good in them. Like, instead of all these negative things, you can start thinking that this generation is so technologically savvy, they are so transparent, they respect diversity, they believe in a greener planet, right? They value autonomy and purpose more than salary. So the more you concentrate on their positive aspect, you will find that you are beginning to like them. And if you start liking them, you will treat them better and they will treat you better, and trust will start developing. Be honest with them. As I said, that this generation likes transparency and manages to be honest, and I think there is nothing wrong in that. During their difficult time, support them almost like their parents. Supporting people when they're down and out is a proven trust builder. It never fails. Show your individual contribution, show your worth, show your skills. Show them that you are not only a router, right? You are just not a coordinator. You have value to add to the team. So whatever skills you have, whether it's your communication or customer handling skills or PowerPoint skills, Excel skills, technical skills, marketing skills, bring it on, right? This generation is unlike us. They do not readily respect ranks. So you've got to earn their respect. They must see you as a deserving guy to lead them. Admit your mistakes and accept responsibility, because that's also one quality that this generation likes. Do not publicly humiliate anyone. This is a big trust breaker. If you have not gone through my 2 sessions on feedback where I gave detailed insights into how to provide effective feedback, I'm putting the links down below for you and request you to also go through those to understand this aspect more. Walk the talk and talk the walk. Again, this is a bit complicated. You all know that how walk the talk can inspire people, right? It's like lead by example stuff. But talk the walk is equally important. You got to showcase your work. You got to tell your team about your work. Post your work has been done, of course. I made a dedicated video on talk the walk. If you're willing to, deep dive more in this particular topic, then you can check that out. Finally, do not play favorites. In order to build trust, people must see you as an impartial guy with high integrity. So make sure that even though you might, like certain people in your team, do not let that affect promotions and do not dish out special attention for them. Your team is watching you. Keep your ethics and integrity very high. So all in all, if you can do most of these and sustain it for years, you will be able to create great trusting teams. Now, I hope while I was talking about these in this slide, you might have tried to map these to reliability, truth, and ability. Let me try to do the mapping now, and you can let me know in the comments below whether you got all of them correct or you have any different opinions about it. Let me know. So here it is. Now the red marker shows the action which will boost reliability. The purple one will boost truth or honesty quotient, and the blue ones will boost the ability factor. Let me know if you got anything different or you got it 100% correct. With this, we finally come to an end of this Let Us Lead Masterclass series. I hope you have learned something today, and overall, you got many takeaways from this course, and you will share this with more and more management and leadership communities. And I hope you will try out some of these things that we discussed here. This is only knowing what to do. But as I said, unless you walk the talk, things will not happen. So I can only hope that you will take good care of your people, build great teams and great leaders of future. Take care of your people, serve them. It's a noble job. I'll take a leave now, but I'll see you guys soon with a new topic. Take care. Bye for now.